I want to share with you a strategy that we have ran for ourselves, we've ran for our clients. A lot of my friends are using it, and it books a fuck ton of meetings. It's something called the interview campaign. And essentially what this looks like at a high level, I'll explain it to you now. Essentially, you approach your target market and you reach out to them saying that you're writing a white paper, so writing a report on how industry, so let's say marketing agencies, for example, can cut client acquisition costs and stand out in a sea of competition. And that's the theme of the white paper. And you're willing to share this white paper with them once it's completed in exchange for them giving you their time in the form of a call. That's all it is. You're reaching out to these people. This is what you're saying you're writing the white paper about how X can X, and you're willing to share it with them as long as they give you their time. And why does this work? Why does this actually work? Like, why do prospects want to do this? It's because it's a different approach to what everyone else is doing. Everyone else is throwing these crazy guarantees at them. They're spamming them with this insane messaging. Everyone looks exactly the same with what they're offering. You're leading with value as well. So not only are you looking different to everyone else, you're actually leading with something of value up front that the prospects want. And what do the prospects want, you may ask? They want insights in terms of what their competitors are doing. They're going to get that white paper. They're going to get that breakdown report of who you've spoke to, what their biggest problems were, what their biggest pain points were, and they're more than happy to contribute to that. And prospects open up more as well when you're in the sales environment with them, because they have nothing to lose. They want to share that information with you that they have. They don't have a guard up. They're not perceiving you as a salesman. You're truly in the frame of being that person who just truly wants to help the prospect and doesn't care about anything else. Again, you can use the insights gained from these interview calls. So you're going to find out, whilst you're doing these interview calls, you're going to find out a hell of a lot more than you would in a traditional discovery about their pain points, their goals, their desires, everything like that. This is the best form of market research. And you can use the insights that you've got from your market research to apply into direct offer scripts, where you are then reaching out to your ideal prospects and talking to them about your core offer and what you actually do. And no one's leveraging direct insights that they've gotten from speaking to prospects on the calls and then putting them into actual campaigns, because those campaigns that you make as a result of finding out information from these interview calls will absolutely print, because the pain points that you're referencing are live and they're in real time, what the market is struggling with, because you would have actually verified that by speaking to these people. So how to find headlines, because as you will have seen, essentially the whole approach is of the premise that you have a headline for your white paper. So you're saying, we're writing a white paper on how marketing agencies can X, Y, and Z. How do you come up with the X, Y, and Z? How do you become aware of what to title your white paper so it can register as much interest as possible when reaching out to these people? So what you want to do for this is you want to use ChatGPT to essentially uncover what the biggest pain points and trends are within your niche. Again, you can use ChatGPT. You can call your niche as well. You can literally phone them up and say, hey, I'm actually looking to start a business in X. Would you mind just giving me 20 minutes of your time just to answer these quick questions that I have? And I'm actually going on to write a white paper later down the line, but I'm just looking to get some insights in terms of what your biggest pain points are, what your biggest problems are. Is that okay? Would you be opposed to it, etc.? Whatever you want to say. Usually, you'll get probably 1 in 10 people will actually give you their time, and you can, again, just get some great insights in terms of how to title the white paper. Again, ChatGPT is absolutely fine for this, but I'd say the better thing to do would be to call your niche, because then you can make sure that the insights are actually true. So an example of a prompt you could ask ChatGPT is, what are the most common and impactful trends for example industry in 2023 and 2024? So again, you're understanding what the biggest problems are, what the biggest challenges are, what impactful trends are, and then you can use this to find out what to title your white paper. And you want to combine trends and also pain points and then use them to create headlines using ChatGPT or using your own brain. It really depends. Again, I'm going to go into instantly and I'm going to show you some examples of what we personally titled our campaigns and our white paper to get the most amount of responses. And you can see what worked for us in our industry. again, like important things to mention here. I just wanted to address these things. So what's in it for them? You really want to mention this within your script. And again, I'll show you examples, but key things to mention is what's in it for them is they're going to get details on the call in terms of what their competitors are doing, how their market looks in this present era. And they're not only going to get details on that call, you're going to share with them value, you're going to give them information about what their competitors are doing, but you're also going to be giving them that white paper which contains a detailed breakdown of everything you've found, and it's going to cover what you found from speaking to their competitors, what their competitors are doing, how they're operating. Obviously, they can choose to be anonymous. It's something you're asking in the sales process, but it will definitely break down the biggest pain points of who you've spoken to, goals, challenges, what they're actually doing on a concrete level as well. So yeah, it's definitely a value add for who you're speaking to. And if you see it from their lens, like you can definitely see why they would want to get on a call with you, because not many people are doing this. Like no one's actually going out of their way to speak to these different people and putting it into a proper outlined white paper, discussing everything they want to know. Who you've already spoken to. So talk about who you've already spoken to. If you'd have spoken to some big names in the industry, this is good to do, because then you can leverage those big names and then you can use it in your copy. And people want to find out, usually there's a couple industry leaders. They don't even have to be industry leaders. They just have to be known in the market to the competitors. And then when people see that you've spoken to X, Y, and Z, it makes you look a lot more credible. And also they want to gain insights into how X, Y, and Z are operating. And you don't have to reference that specifically. Again, you can ask the people who you're speaking to if they want to be kept anonymous or not, and then use that to your advantage. So the next thing is I want to run you through how my actual script looked for this. So these were interview campaigns that we ran. So Slim 7 is a sales lead interview method, and we had different campaigns that we'd run. But the best performing campaign that we had, I believe, was probably this one, number 5. So once this actually gets ready, hopefully this actually loads in time. So this is an example of one of the campaigns that we ran for ourselves. And you can see here we've reached out to 4,000 leads, generated 100 opportunities. So I think that's around a 3% positive response rate with this. In an industry like marketing agencies where there's a lot of competition, this is an extremely strong campaign. And I'm going to show you what it actually looked like, the sequences, the leads, many of the sequences though. So this is the copy that we were using. So it'd be extremely simple. So, hey, hi, first name, my business partner, Max, found your company on LinkedIn and mentioned that I should reach out. We've been interviewing a few CEOs, COOs, any other business title that you want to speak to, and leading business leaders from the marketing and advertising industry, since we're creating a white paper on X. Again, this is a headline that we came up with. This is crucial to put into your campaigns and make sure they resonate. Top 5 emerging business development trends going into 2024. So obviously what you want to do is you want to split test different variants, different headlines, so you can work out which one is performing the best. And you want to take that best performing headline, and then you want to create 3 variants of that. You want to find out what the best variant within those three tests were, and then again take that variant, do another 3 variants of that. Just keep testing like that, and that is the best way that you're going to print with this method. So this is what it looked like. So again, this is the headline title. We've already spoken to 8 CEOs so far, got some interesting insights. Feel free to reject this if you don't think it's a good fit, but would you be open to having a quick chat to cover insights we already have and gather your experience? So making it pretty clear what's in it for them. We're saying we've already spoken to 8 CEOs so far, got some interesting insights. Do you want to have a quick chat to cover insights we already have and gather your experiences as well? We can keep it anonymous if you prefer. And then I'd reference the forwarded message here. So this is a really interesting strategy you can use. It's essentially like creating a dummy forwarded message so they can see this, and it looks pretty legit, and it's a very nice tactic. Again, like these were different campaigns. The only thing would change in these different variants were the headline. So creating a white paper on 3 growth hacks every new age marketing agency needs to know in 2024, 6 biggest challenges facing marketing agencies in the era of AI and automation, and then different ones here. And what we'd find is some headlines would perform a lot better than others. So for example, E and H E and H, which got 14. D, E, and H were the best performing steps, were the best performing variants. So D was next gen marketing leaders are taking vast pieces of market share. E, this one, market share was a big one. And then J as well, common themes was growing a successful marketing firm in 2024. So these were key things. These were key things that we included. And yeah, we essentially just found the winning headline in there. And then every campaign that we'd create from that point onwards would just be more variants of the winning headline already. So going back into important things for the interview process, I want to cover something pretty crucial, which is after you've actually got the people on the call, because getting people on the call is the easy part. It's what you do after that. So this is how the sales process differentiates from a traditional sales call where you're reaching out with a direct offer or something like that. So how this works is, again, like you're obviously not closing on one call because you're leading with value. You're reaching out to them with the intent of building the white paper, which you're definitely going to do. But like you can't close on the first call. There's no way to switch that frame around and then pitch them without coming across like a complete idiot. So again, this is over 2 calls. Setting the frame is extremely important because we're running this call just like we would run a discovery, but there's certain things that we have to do slightly differently to play by the rules and play into the frame of being the interviewer and keeping it as a value exchange. So this is how I'd set the frame. Thanks for taking the time to chat. The call today is going to be super simple. I want to get some deep insights into your background, how things have been going, the ups and downs with company name, and ultimately to build out the white paper, which I mentioned, but also just to see if there could be a fit between what we do ourselves as a company and you guys as well. Does that sound good? Yes, it sounds good. Okay, brilliant. So now I've set the frame. They know the agenda for the call. They know it's going to be a very simple format. We're just going to ask them questions, etc. And also we're going to see if there's a fit between what we do ourselves as a company. And in a lot of cases, like depending on how sophisticated your niche is. So for example, for us, they almost knew because they checked out our landing page, they checked out our profiles, they almost knew that there'd probably be a degree of us seeing if there's a fit between both of us as well and seeing if there's an opportunity to pitch them, but they didn't care because they just wanted the white paper insights. So almost when you say this and when you actually put it across that you're also going to see if there's a fit between us and them, then it almost lets their guard down because like, okay, yeah, I knew that the pitch would probably come at some point. Now he's got it out of the way, but we can still have a great chat and do everything there. So it's really important to nail this frame. The next thing is asking questions. So again, like although this is basically a discovery call, we want to be careful with how we ask certain questions because almost every question that you ask, again, it's going to be the same as a discovery call, but there's certain questions that you'll need to frame properly to go with the interview approach. So don't ask questions that wouldn't make sense to ask for an interview. So you're not asking them what's your budget for a agency or a service provider to solve this problem. Like it doesn't make sense. Or getting super down into their revenue numbers, like asking them about their cash flow, their profit margins. Yes, it makes sense to get revenue because again, like it's how we're going to put the plan together for what we're doing next. And but just don't be too weird on the questions and make the questions make sense for what you're actually doing. The next thing is the transition. So the transition is quite a long one. I'm going to unhighlight all of this because this is extremely important. Transition. So if they're not a good fit, which you should be able to, it should be pretty apparent whether they're not a good fit. Usually it's they're not earning enough money, they don't have a problem around what your offer solves, or they're just a complete dickhead and you don't want to work with them anyway. So if they're not a good fit, you really just want to run them through something like this. Thank you so much for your patience. That's all the questions I've got for you. It's been a ton of help. And like I said, I'll send over a detailed report once published, include a link to your website. And although they're not a good fit, what you can do from this is ask them for referrals in the industry. So they're going to send you some people. So you can literally say, do you know anyone similar to you in the industry? Like they say, okay, yeah, I might know him, and him. You'll say, okay, brilliant. I'll just send you an email. And if you can forward it on to them, that'll be great. If they don't forward it on to the person, then you can just send them an email saying, hey, X, I just chatted with John. He mentioned that you also might be interested in taking part in this interview. When's a good time to set up a call? There we go. So now we've actually gained, we're moving forward from even the people that aren't qualified for what we do. So if it is a good fit, I'd say something like, thank you so much for taking the time to contribute to the white paper. Hopefully you got some insights along the way. This is another thing. So it's not in the traditional discovery sense when you're just running them through each question, like, okay, how many leads are you getting? What's your closing rate? It's more of a value exchange. You're sharing information about what you're doing. The prospect's guard's down, so you can act as more of a conversational approach and really get them to open up without coming across as a weird guy who's just digging as deep as possible. Again, you do want to dig as deep as possible, but you can do it in a way that's almost like a conversation with a prospect. In relation to what you were saying about pain point, so again, you will have got pain from what they're talking about. So for example, in relation to what you're saying around not having, struggling to add structure to your sales process, that's something that we've really been honing in our solution recently for. Would you mind if I just talked you through that and showed you how that could apply to your company and your specific situation? And then what I'd do from this stage is I'd transition into my discovery phase. So into my discovery transition. So what I'd do is I'd take what I've said here and talk about the biggest pain that I've referenced here, and then integrate that and emphasize it in what I'm talking about here. So I'd say, yeah, that's all the questions I've got for you based on what you told me around the problem around not adding structure to your sales process or not getting enough leads. And then I'd really drill down into our three pillars to our service. Maybe you have two, maybe you have five. I'd recommend you have 2 to 5 core pillars of your service, and you want to just cover them at a high level here. Really, it shouldn't be more than 3. Like, you should be able to articulate what you do in 3 key parts, unless you're pitching fucking huge whales. But it should be good. Like, this should be good. This is what I'd say. This is how I'd take the frame from this point onwards and transition it into a further call. And basically the core tenet of this is, I'd say, based on everything that you've shared, I'm confident that we can help. I do think it's a good fit, but I want to run the numbers and make sure it suits us both and put together a custom plan detailing exactly how you can go from A to B and overcome your problems around lack of structure in the sales process, enough qualified leads, and overcoming that feast and famine cycles that a lot of agencies deal with. So would you be against us scheduling a time on, I don't know, next Wednesday, 2 p.m. EST, so I can walk you through exactly how this works? No? Okay, cool. Actually, no, this time doesn't work for me. All right, brilliant. Would Friday the same time work? Yes, cool. All right, nice. I'll get that booked in. Is there anyone else that you'd like to have on the call? Yeah, I want to take my business partner on the call as well. I want my head of marketing to come on that call as well. Okay, brilliant. I've booked you guys in. I'll speak to you then. Thank you so much for your time. I'll see you later. Perfect. You've done it. So it's really as simple as that. In terms of how the interview process works, like, again, these are some of my questions. I actually run you through what my exact script looks like for this in the discovery phase, but really it looks the exact same as a discovery call script. You just have to be careful of how you phrase certain questions, but essentially you can get all the information you need because the prospect's guard is down and you're just having a conversation. You can get them to open up a lot more and get a lot more pain out of them, which obviously you're going to leverage when building that custom proposal. Again, it doesn't even have to be custom. You can just, even if you don't want to make a custom proposal and you have a slightly lower ticket deal, you can book them in for a second call and then you can just run them through the pitch that you use for every prospect. But then you have the insights from that as well. So when you're reading through that script, you can just change a few things to align with what you found out about your prospect. So that's how everything works. This is a very, very effective campaign. Again, like, this is working as of now. I'm sure this is going to get into the mainstream and a lot more people are going to use it and prospects are going to have their guard up around this. But as long as you're legit, as long as you're actually giving them the white paper, and yeah, like right now this works, I'd say get on it while you can. It's an extremely useful tool and it's helped me make a lot of money. And also a lot of people I know, our clients as well, a lot of money as well. So if you want more information about what we do, it's 2-to-1 private mentorship. You can book in a call with me in the description. There should be a booking link on the top of the description. I've also got a free cold calling guide that you can download, but yeah, completely up to you. I really don't mind either way. But anyway, thank you for your time. I appreciate it and have a good rest of your day. Thanks for watching the video.